there, troopers. This is Random Game Channel, and I'm back with another gameplay tips video. This time it's going to be for the sniper, and this will be version 2. For those of you that are new or returning to the channel, you might not have heard of this yet. So right now I'm going back to my old content, gameplay tips and primer videos, and just updating them, making sure they're ready for full game launch on October 11th, 2024. So there's like a few things I wanted to go back and just fine-tune so that people can start preparing for the game. So that's what I'm doing. Okay, so I got the intro out of the way. Let's talk about the sniper. So, what is the sniper? This one might be pretty self-explanatory, but for those of you that don't really know, their role is to eliminate high profile targets, provide overwatch, and just provide support for the troopers with their long-range weaponry. So let's take a look at some of the class abilities. So the first one's going to be high intensity speed training. Extreme conditioning and aerobic training nets you faster traversal speed. So just by default, you're going to be running and moving faster than any other class, except for the ranger. Their activated ability allows them to be the fastest moving class in the game, at least as of right now. The next one is the jump jet. So this activated ability, so the first one's like passive, and the jump jet's the active ability they need to do. So for this one, it provides troopers the ability to execute a short but powerful jet jump. So what this does is that when you activate this ability, you're gonna be able to boost into the air vertically, and to get an extra bit of height to the jump jet, you just jump and then activate the ability. This will allow the sniper to get up to hard to reach places that other troopers can't, and also where the bugs can't get them. So this is a great ability to use when you're trying to find somewhere safe to set up a sniper's nest. Let me get a cough drop, because again, my throat is dry. Okay. So if you've been watching some of my other videos, you might have noticed that there's a little button you can click here, and it'll show you like the class progression and the unlockables. But since I max leveled this class already, I don't have that option anymore here. So we're gonna have to do this kind of differently compared to the other videos. So we're just gonna go and look at these through each of the sections here. So the first one we're going to do is take a look at the primary weapons. So by default, each class will have the Marina Mark 1. This is going to be kind of like your standard issue assault rifle. It's well balanced, has decent damage, and the recoil is pretty controllable. The next thing you can unlock is the TW202L Morita Hawkeye. This is going to be like your marksman rifle, semi-automatic rifle. It's really good at taking care of long-range threats. It it doesn't deal as much damage as, say, the XXX sniper rifle, but you know, as a scout marksman rifle, this is pretty, you know, good to use. Now for this one, I want to double check what my progression is. So okay, so I needed to check if this weapon was available to this class just naturally, which it is. So this one's the E-Pulse 44A2. So with this weapon, it's only going to be able to hit targets at medium range. Anything beyond that, the projectiles will just explode in the air. So this thing can't over-penetrate targets, so it'll hit something behind it, and it kind of just ignores armor. So for any weapon that's E-Pulse, in the E-Pulse family, it's all going to be short range and it's going to be able to over-penetrate. There are some downsides to it, like it takes a little bit longer to reload these kind of weapons, but you know, to each their own. If you really like using it, go for it. Because remember, the most important part is that you play what you like and enjoy. The last thing that you can unlock is the Merida XXX sniper rifle. This thing will one-hit kill warriors and gunners, and it's really powerful. It packs a pretty good kick, so you kind of need to work on controlling the recoil. It's going to be a bolt action rifle, so you're not going to be able to shoot as fast with you know, when you compare it to the Merida Hawkeye. So a couple of things about this weapon. If you're shooting at long range, you're gonna want to utilize the focus ability. Default keyboard is left shift. That's gonna, you know, put you into focus mode. And it's kind of like that thing in other games where like you hold your breath kind of thing, and that'll help you kind of get a steadier shot. Yeah, this is the rifle you want to use if you want to just like make a big impact on the battlefield and potentially deal a lot of damage all at once. So some other things here, you might have noticed that there's these other two weapons. These are not naturally available to this class. You can unlock other weapons to use for other classes as long as you max level the XP to level 10. As of right now, that's going to be the max level, but going forward, there is, you know, probably going to be opportunities to you know, increase the XP here. So whatever the max level is, you just need to max it out. But once you do, it'll be available for use for all the other classes. You just need to make sure you're at the correct level that this weapon would normally unlock in for the class it came from. Okay. Excuse me. Next one is going to be the secondary weapon slot. Let's take a look at it. You're going to be able to use a Peacemaker or the Emancipator. So a couple things about the Peacemaker. You can shoot this thing real fast. That's great at close to medium range. The damage is going to be pretty low though. And it has this attribute called Stagger, which is explained here. Staggering an enemy causes them to stop moving and recoil backwards. But as soon as you stop like shooting at them, they're going to be able to start moving again. And if you need to hit something at long range, the Peacemaker is going to cut it. Just won't hit very accurately, and the damage drop off is going to be significant, so you're not going to be dealing a lot of damage. However, the one that I like to use a lot is the Emancipator. So like I've been saying in the other videos, if you've played CS 1.6 back in the day, this is going to be like the deagle. But for other people, you can just call this the hand cannon. So this thing hits pretty dang hard. It doesn't have any stagger, but what it does have is stun. So stun is kind of like a hidden attribute right now. But what stun is that when you hit a bug with a weapon that has stun, it's gonna cause the bug to kind of just sit for a second. And if a warrior bug, a tiger bug, a royal guard, if any of those bugs are charging at you, you're gonna cause them to, stop charging, and that could potentially save your life. So those are the some of the major differences here between the two pistols. Like the Emancipator can hit things at long range and accurately and deals more damage. It'll just have a lot more kick to it. But again, just want to remind you, use whatever you think is going to be fun for you and what's most effective in your hands. Okay, moving into the utility. There's only two, but they're pretty good. So the first one's going to be the scan dart. So you can hold a max of one mag. One mag has 10 rounds. So what this does is that it fires a scan dart, which will scan and highlight nearby enemies. Scanned enemies take additional damage, and the darts will attach to the target you shot at. So if you shot at the ground, it's not going to scan anything, but if you hit a bug with it, it'll start scanning the bug and any other bugs around it. So this thing's pretty useful to use if you want to, do a bit of like buffing for your team. It's a great way to get some extra XP too, because if you scan a large crowd of bugs, you're going to get a ton of XP. Next one is the LV Visor. So when you switch to this utility, you need to activate it manually. So that's going to be clicking on the left mouse button. Don't know what it's going to be on the controller, but just double check that. So what this does is that it creates a tactical HUD overlay that improves the battlefield awareness and target identification. So this is related to what I'm always talking about, which is environmental awareness. This is going to help you with your environmental awareness because it's going to highlight bugs in this like teal / like cyan color. Maybe not cyan, but like more of a teal or like a greenish color. At least I think it looks like green. Starting to get into one of those shades of colors I have trouble with. But anyways, it highlights the bugs in your field of view. Toggle on off. It'll kind of make things look like it's a night vision. So if you're in a dark environment like a tunnel or a cave or a pitch black setting, the LV Visor is going to help improve your visibility so much. I recommend turning this on right away. That's just such a key utility to use for this class. Next one is going to be the grenades. By default, each class gets access to the MX90. This is a great, reliable grenade. Blast range is 7 meters. This is a pretty good spread. The damage is pretty good. Just keep in mind there's a 3-second fuse timer. So if you're getting chased down by a bug, you probably want to throw it at your feet And by the time it detonates, the bug will be right on top of you, and hopefully this grenade will detonate and save your butt. Next one is the scan grenade. This thing, when it explodes, it'll scan an enemy, and it'll also scan any other enemies around it. And anything that's been scanned will take additional damage. It'll be a 6-meter radius, and it'll only last for 30 seconds. So great if you want to be, kind of a supporty role. And you can't go wrong with a scan grenade because it'll net you a lot of XP if you throw it into a large crowd of bugs. Next thing is the high X grenade. So this is a sticky grenade. Deals an incredible amount of burst damage. It has a small blast radius, so just keep in mind. This is really useful to use and equip. Especially if you want to, potentially kill some larger elite bugs. So if you successfully stick this grenade onto a tiger, an inferno bug, they're gonna one-hit kill them. So if you need something dead right away, throw that on them. Now, I'm not 100% sure for the Royal Guard, but if it doesn't die right away, it's going to be severely wounded, which will allow you and the other troopers to eliminate it. Okay, moving on to the perks. We got some options. So let's go over this first one. High ground. Firing on a bug from above will yield more damage. Bolts travel faster when they travel downwards. So what this really does is that it deals up to 1.3 times damage based on difference in height. So the higher you are, the more damage you'll deal. Magazine bandolier. Let's see, what is the scan dart classified? It's classified as a pistol. So if you have the magazine bandolier, you're gonna get 2 extra mags for it. Something you want to keep an eye on. So if you love using the scan dart, then you might want to consider equipping the magazine bandolier because it'll give you more ammo, more scan dart to shoot with this pistol. Next one is spotter training. Advanced scout training aids in the target triage of high priority bugs. This will allow you to automatically scan bugs when they are pinged. Scanned enemies take additional damage. So what you're probably seeing so far in this class is it has a lot of abilities, gizmos, and gadgets that will allow you to scan enemies, and they all provide additional damage. So that's just kind of a thing you'll be doing for this class. That's one way you'll support the team. I like using this one a lot because it just helps not only you, but the team. Because the faster a bug can die means more bugs that you can kill. Next one is the utility satchel. It just adds one to all your utilities. So it'll just give you more, I wouldn't say scan dart, because that's like a pistol. But if you had like a ammo fabricator or something, it'll give you +1. So not sure why that's there, but it's there. Next one is marathon. Improved endurance allows faster sprint speeds. So sprinting for 2 seconds increases the sprint speed. You have to remain out of combat though for this to kick in. Last one is a directed fire. Advanced sharpshooter training provides improved target prioritization and team coordination. So what this means is that further increased damage dealt to scanned enemies. So anything that has been scanned will take even more damage if you have this equipped. I like using this one a lot too because you're going to be doing a lot of scanning. Either with your utility perks or just the default pinging system. Okay, so those are all the perks. Hopefully that gives you an idea of what this class will look like. Let me just put the sniper back on because the flamethrower looks a little weird. Next thing, if you want to change the name of your class loadout, you just click that button there, fill out the name here. If you want to customize the appearance of your trooper, you can change the visor color. Just keep in mind that everything in here will unlock at a specific level. And here's kind of like a preview of what all the other decals look like. And this is just going to be the color of your suit. So there you go. Most popular one is going to be crimson and the blood visor. They just look so cool. Okay, so that was it for kind of like the basics of the class. So now we're going to move into the actual gameplay tips for this class. Okay, so first one, tip number one, activate the LV Visor. So let's go back to this. So remember, when you activate it, it's going to highlight bugs for you. And if you're in a dark environment, it's going to be super helpful for you to use. So I always recommend, first thing you do when you drop planetside, activate the LV Visor. Even if it's like a super sunny situation, you're still going to be able to see bugs be highlighted for you. And it's just a really helpful tool that you should always be using. Especially if you sometimes kind of like when you're looking out at the field and your eyes get kind of glazy because everything looks the same. The LV Visor is going to help you differentiate where the bug is at versus like the background. Like for example, if you're looking far away and into a dust cloud, this LV Visor is going to help you identify if bugs are in that area. So definitely make use of this LV Visor. It's so handy. Okay. Moving into tip number two, find somewhere safe to snipe from. So what do I mean by that? So a good place that you should set up in is any kind of elevated terrain where the bugs can't climb up to attack you. Some good examples are tops of shipping containers, rooftops, a rock outcrop on a sheer cliff, top of a tall vehicle, and sometimes you'll see partially destroyed walls, so those are also really good places to set up on. Also, like towers, refineries, things like that, where bugs can't just walk up to you there. Some bad examples are going to be a mound of dirt, on a gentle slopes on each side. The bugs will easily just walk up to you and eat you alive. Next one is edge of a cliff with open entrances all around you. The bugs are smart. They will, chase you down the cliff if they don't, eat you right away. Next one is low elevation terrain like a box or a partially destroyed wall that's like low to the ground, or any other kind of building that has like debris around it or any thing that's like low elevation, there's a good chance that the bugs can still walk up to you. Okay, moving into tip number 3, sniper's role and target prioritization. So this one's really important. I don't know if anyone ever really talks about this. Like, everyone has like their own opinions and stuff, but what you might hear from different people could be vastly different from what I say. So just kind of take this one with an open mindset and kind of see what works best for you. So for me, target prioritization is going to be the most important to least important. So let's start with the most important one, gunners. So if you don't know what gunners are, those are the bug's equivalent of a sniper. From there, you want to look at grenadiers. That's going to be the big blue bug that shoots plasma blobs at you. It's essentially a mortar, and this plasma that shoots at troopers, it can one-hit kill them. Can one-hit kill multiple troopers. Even if you're on the very periphery of the blast radius, you're gonna get hurt a lot. This thing can deal a significant amount of damage to structures, so make sure that you're keeping an eye out for this bug. Next one is going to be the Inferno. Similar to the Grenadier, it shoots this blob at you, but it's a napalm blast. So when it detonates, it's going to it's gonna explode on the ground, and it's gonna deny parts of the ground to the trooper because it's napalm fire. It's gonna persist for a few seconds. So definitely keep an eye out for that. And you can shoot the fireball mid-air, which will cause it to explode. So that's an extra little tip for you. Next one is going to be the Royal Guard. So this thing is going to be able to one-hit kill multiple troopers, and it can deal a significant amount of damage to structures. Next one is going to be the Tiger. So with the Tiger, it's a similar thing. It can one-hit kill multiple troopers, and it can deal a lot of damage to structures. So here's my spin on why my target prioritization list might be different from other people. So the gunners, not a lot of other classes are going to be able to engage the gunner as well or as effectively as the sniper class can. So once a gunner is targeting you, they're not going to really let you go. So they can effectively kill troopers rapidly in a rapid pace, and oftentimes when they spawn in the map, there's going to be multiple of them. I've been in situations where 10 to 15 of them spawns at one time, and it absolutely shreds troopers. So it's a good idea to go after these things first, because they're pretty deadly. Grenadiers and Infernos, those projectiles can be dodged. But again, other troopers aren't going to be necessarily effective against it, because usually these two bugs are going to spawn super far away from you. So that's where the snipers, Merida XXX sniper rifle and the Merida Hawkeye are going to come in handy. Because those things can hit pretty good at long range. Now for the Royal Guard and Tiger, you know, those things are still pretty dangerous, especially to the base. But the other troopers should be able to hit these bugs because they're melee-oriented bugs, which means they need to be close range to deal damage. So that's why I have them further down on the list, because the other troopers should be able to take care of them no problem. Of course, warriors and drones are still an issue, and so are bombardiers, but those, the other troopers can take care of them. Let them do that as their job. Your job is to go after the more elite bugs. So depending on who you talk to, they might say you gotta go after the Tigers and Royal Guards first. Sometimes they'll say go after the Grenadiers and Infernos first. But really those can be more easily managed by a majority. Well, not the Grenadiers and Infernos, but like Royal Guards, Tigers, Warriors. You know, most of the times the other troopers are going to be able to take care of them, no problem. It's the Gunners, Grenadiers, and Infernos that the troopers usually have an issue with because they're going to typically be at long range. A Marita Mark I assault rifle isn't going to be able to, you know, effectively kill this thing compared to the Hawkeye or the sniper rifle. So in order to do well with this target prioritization list, you need to have the LV Visor on, and you need to be really good with your environmental awareness. So don't get stuck hard scoping. You need to get out of the scope, look around, do a 360 spin, check out your environment, check out where the bugs are, and just make sure you take care of these threats as quickly as you can. So other things that you can do when you're out on the field is that you can provide cover fire for troopers that are transporting canisters of gas or ore. When they're carrying those items, they're not going to be able to defend themselves because they're carrying those canisters. So that's also one of the jobs you need to do as a sniper. Okay. Moving into tip number 4. The dangers of setting up a position in towers and other high elevation structures that only you, the sniper, can reach. So typically when you're in a high elevated position, there's usually not going to be a lot of cover, because most times it's going to be on top of a refinery, a wall, or like a really tall building. The other thing is that you'll be targeted a lot by gunners. So the gunners are actually coded to be more aggressive towards engineers and snipers. So that's what I mean by, you know, killing the gunners first, because they're gonna go after you first before any other troopers. So if they don't see you right away, they're going to be shooting at other troopers, so that'll give you time to hunt them down. But most times, typically, the gunners are going to be after you. Also, Grenadier and Inferno bugs, they'll also be trying to target you as well. Of course, there might be some other factors involved in how they do target prioritization. But it doesn't hurt to keep an eye out for these bugs because they have the capacity to reach out and hit you. So again, you gotta be really good with your environmental awareness. You need to look around. You can't always just be hard scoping, taking shots. So before you set up a position to snipe in, make sure that you stock up on health stims and ammo, because typically in these positions that you set up in, the engineer isn't going to be able to reach you and build an ammo crate or drop off an ammo fabricator for you. So just keep that in mind, because you'll have limited access to health stims and no ammo. And if you think you're going to die, just drop down from your position and regroup with the team. Or if you can, just try to get to the very edge of where you're camping at, and hopefully a medic can aim the medical drone up to you and revive you that way. So that's just some of the extreme dangers of when you're up in a high position like that. So yeah. Okay. Turning the page. Okay. So we are on tip number 5 now. The Merida XXX sniper rifle versus the Hawkeye. So let's take a look at the differences between these two weapons. So let's start with a XXX sniper rifle. It's going to be dealing 1100 points of damage. It has 100, I guess you could say, percent stagger. So this is definitely going to cause a bug to stop moving for a second and recoil. But it also has the stun attribute to it. So remember, stun is a hidden attribute. So this is going to cause the bug to sit down for a second, similar to how you train a dog to sit. So this thing's a pretty hefty rifle. Rounds per minute, we don't really need to be worried about that too much. See, this is the optimal range in meters of the weapon. After the range damage begins to either, well, that kind of weird sense. After this range damage begins to either fall off or the projectile stops. That's a really weird way to say something, so let me translate that for you. This thing can hit up to 300 meters before you start seeing any kind of like significant damage drop off due to range. But don't let that stop you from using this weapon. So meters, I don't know what that is in feet for us Americans, so a meter is about 3 feet. So 300 times 3, so 900 feet. That's doing some calculation in my head. I don't know. But just know that this thing will hit pretty damn far. Accuracy, of course, is going to be pretty high. Handling is low because the recoil on this thing is pretty hefty. Armor piercing is pretty strong too. I believe this is like one of the strongest ones in all the weapons. The crit damage, so it's how much extra damage you do for hitting a weak point with this weapon. So if you shoot a tiger in the nerf stem, you're going to be dealing 2.5 times damage. So if you're really good, definitely utilize this weapon and just hit them in the weak point. So you get, by default, you get 5 mags with 6 rounds each. But if you want more cartridges in your mag, definitely, where is it? Equip the extended magazine. It's going to give you 50% magazine size, but you're going to take away one mag. That's a really good trade-off because you want to keep firing. So thing's going to net you, what, 10, 11 rounds in your magazine. Next one I like, can't remember, is there anything here? Nope, I lied. Next one that I really like, let's see, what do we have here? We have the 4x scope, 2x scope, and a 6x scope. The 6x scope, it's going to introduce a lot of like variance in your shots. I don't like using it. The weapon sway seems more significant. The 4x scope, for me, it feels like it's the best one to use. It offers just enough magnification with the least amount of like weapon sway, if that's the right thing. 2x scope is enough magnification for you, so I think 4x is a good blend of both worlds. Okay. However, there's also the vented barrel. I like using that. It helps with the weapon recoil because it cuts it in half. The only thing is that it's going to reduce the speed of the cartridge when it ejects the projectile. So it's like not super noticeable. So if you're worried about that, don't worry about it. Very much like the trade-off that it provides you for the recoil. Here's a little preview of the skins. So this is XXX1, XXX2. I always like using the XXX2 because it stands out the most. So this is what the rifle looks like. This is the mechanism that you'll use to, you know, pull back and slot the next round in. Yeah. Just know that this sniper rifle is going to shoot pretty slow compared to the Hawkeye. Oops. So with the Hawkeye, you'll see that it actually does significantly less damage than the Merida. You know, the Merida XXX sniper rifle is going to be doing 1100, whereas the Hawkeye is 225. So, let me switch back this thing. See, the stagger is 100. But the stagger on the Hawkeye is 1,000. So that's a lot. Rounds per minute. Of course, you'll be shooting with this a lot faster because it's a semi-automatic assault rifle. The range is going to be a lot shorter. Accuracy and handling is going to be high because it has way less recoil than the sniper rifle does. Armor piercing is going to be average at 3. I believe the crit value is the same. So yeah. So, oops, I'm going to bring that back up. So for those of you that want to be more of like a marksman, designated marksman kind of role, this is the weapon you want to use. You can kill or place shots out on bugs faster. You might be able to kill bugs a little bit faster than, say, you know, the sniper rifle because you gotta line up your shot. Sometimes with the weapon sway with a scope, it might you know, make you shoot inaccurately. So if you have some difficulty with super long range shots with a sniper rifle, you might want to use the Merida Hawkeye because the handling and the recoil is a lot better on this, so you might be able to kill bugs faster with this because you'll be placing your shots more accurately. However, The flip side to this is that if you get really good with sniping, and you want to use the sniper rifle, you'll actually notice that this thing can put down bugs a lot faster. So this is something I would say is more of like a weapon you want to use once you're a little more comfortable with this class and sniping, because this thing can like one hit kill the standard warrior and gunner bug. So with the Hawkeye, you're gonna take 4 shots to put down a gunner. I think 4 rounds or so to take down a regular warrior. And then for anything like a grenadier or inferno, you're gonna take a few mags just to take them down with a Hawkeye. Whereas with a sniper rifle, probably like, 3 to 4 shots. And if you have the extended magazine, you're gonna have a lot left over to take on another one. So, those are the differences. Play whichever one you feel like you'll have the most fun with. If you like the challenge of using the sniper rifle, definitely check that out. But just know that you're gonna kind of need to practice on it a little bit. So yeah, I think that's all I had to say about these. Moving on to tip number 6, focus, steady breathing mode. So in this game, I think they call it focus, but we can check that. Let's see, is it controls? Oh yeah, they call it focus. So focus, when you hold down left shift, you're gonna kind of do that, the hold your breath thing in the other games. This can be performed on any weapon in this game, not just for the sniper rifle and the Hawkeye. So the reason why I recommend you use this is because it'll help you place your shots better, and this is significantly more noticeable if you use the XXX sniper rifle. So another thing that'll help you place your shots more accurately is by crouching. So in this game, if you crouch, you'll be able to place your shots a little more accurately than if you're just standing still. And also, if you crouch with the sniper rifle, you'll be able to hip fire a little bit easier. So if you get really good at it, anything at close range, you can kind of just turn the sniper rifle into a giant shotgun. So that's a nice little bonus tip. Also, if you're using either weapon, and if you do the focus thing, it'll help reduce the suppression that a gunner would cause if it were to be shooting at you. So when you're shooting, or when a gunner is shooting at you and you're trying to aim at it, you'll start getting some really massive weapon sway and your screen gets a little blurry. So if you use focus, you'll be able to cut that down a bit and be able to place some shots on the bug. So something you want to consider. Also, this will help you with long range shots. So let me take a look at my notes here. Okay, that's coming up in the last gameplay tip. So that's tip number 6. Moving into tip number 7, kill count. So if you've been following this gameplay tips video so far, I talked about target prioritization in tip number 3. So if you're following my recommendations and my suggestions about what bugs to go after first, just know that don't expect to get hundreds and hundreds of kills. This kind of target prioritization list is designed for you to hunt down very specific bugs. So half the time you're going to be shooting, and the other half of the time you're going to be looking for those elite bugs to kill. But don't let anyone say that you're doing your job or talk down to you. Let that brush off your shoulders, because what you're doing is that you're taking care of these elite bugs so that the other troopers can do their jobs. And when you're hunting down these bugs, be patient, take your time, line up your shot, and hopefully you kill the bug. Okay, so that was tip number 7. Moving into tip number 8, long range shots. So with the Hawkeye, I feel like you're not gonna have too much of an issue with this thing, because the velocity of the rounds will still go pretty dang fast, and you might only need to slightly adjust for the difference in the position of the bug and where it's running and where you need to actually place your shot. So if I have some gameplay tip or some video for this gameplay tips video, I'll play it now. If not, you'll just be staring at the screen still while trying to find something. But this tip is mostly for the XXX sniper rifle. What you'll notice sometimes is that if you're shooting something at extremely long range with this sniper rifle, you might miss your shot if the bug is like zigzagging around or running really fast in one direction. So when that happens, you need to lead the target. Usually you need to lead the target no greater than, say, the diameter of the charging handle here that you can see on the sniper rifle. So it's kind of a skill set that you need to develop. I still have trouble placing my shots at further distance, long range, extreme long range, because sometimes the bugs can be like shuffling around quite a lot. So that's something you need to practice on. Don't feel super frustrated because you can't get your shots in. That's totally normal. I've been sniping a lot, and this is my second most favorite class. Even back when there were only 3 classes, I'd play medic stuff a lot. That's my favorite class, and this one's my second most favorite. So I've been sniping for a while, and even for someone like me that's been sniping a lot, long range shots can be pretty difficult sometimes. So don't give up on this rifle, and don't get too frustrated if you're kind of struggling a little bit. Just practice makes perfect. And to help with these long range shots, definitely make use of focus, because that's going to help you stabilize your shot, set you up for a good shot. Okay, so let's move into the last gameplay tip number 9. The best game modes to practice sniping in. No one ever really talks about this, but I'll talk about it. So the best one you want to go to are Horde Survival and Arc Mode. So why these two versus Hive Hunt and Advance and Secure? Well, for Hive Hunt, this is going to be all in tunnels and caves, and there's not going to be a lot of spots for you to like safely camp in. There's not any, high elevated terrain pieces for you to set up on. So sniping in there is going to be a real challenge, and it's probably going to make you hate the class. And the other one, Advanced and Secure, or AAS, that one you're going to be moving around a lot, so most times you're not going to be able to find a good place to set up shop. I mean, there are places for you to do that, but that game mode is going to be super short. It takes anywhere from like 15 to maybe 20 minutes to complete. It's not enough time for you to really get some good, sniping in. So, Horde Survival and Arc. So for Horde, it's base defense. You're going to be in a stationary area. There's always going to be access to a lot of high elevated terrain that you can set up in. There's always going to be access to ammo and health stims in the base. So that's just a really good place to start practicing in. Games can take anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes to complete. So that's going to be a lot of time for you to start practicing and refining your sniping skills. Next one is going to be Arc. So this is also base defense slash collect ore and gas kind of environment. So Arc usually can take anywhere between like, maybe 30 minutes, 40, 50 minutes, depending on how fast people can progress the game state. But know that in Arc you also have a base that you can build up from the start of the game. So this is going to be a great opportunity for you to just camp in the base a little bit, build up your sniping skills. You can also go out into the field as well, and it's going to allow you enough time to kind of like explore the map a little bit, find good places to set up a sniper nest in, and provide support for the troopers. So those are the two game modes I recommend starting with if you want to just get to practicing right away. So yeah. Well, that's all the gameplay tips I have for the sniper. As you can see, I had a lot of tips for this class because it's one of my most favorite ones. Okay. And hopefully that helps give you a good preview of what this class does. Hopefully it helps you improve your gameplay. If you ever need help with something, you can always send a message into the comments for the YouTube video and I'll check it out. This is Random Game Channel. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you in the field, troopers.